Hello, hello, hello. So let me teach you something about becoming successful. Success only comes down to one word: dissatisfaction. You will only build success, and by success I mean money, fitness, material success. You will only build success if you are dissatisfied with where you currently are. You need to have a higher bar of dissatisfaction compared to where you are at. So let me ask you a question. And I want you to really answer this question in your mind. Or if you want to help this video blow up, then you can like comment it below, right? Write your goals down, or just think about your goals. How much money do you want to make per month? Most guys would say 10K a month. Your goals disgust me. I would be so embarrassed if I was at your goal. Most likely. You want to make 10K a month. If I was on 10K a month, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would probably like have night sweats, and I'd probably maybe shake and maybe even start crying. You want to get to like, a certain physique. You want to be able to bench press like 60 kg, 80 kg. I would have mental health problems if I was at your level. At the level you want to get to. If I was at that level, how quick do you think I would have made progress to go further? If I was at your level right now, you want to get to 10K a month, maybe you're only making like a few $100s a month, or maybe you're making zero. If I was at your level, suddenly I was making zero as well. How quickly do you think I would get to 10K a month, 100K a month compared to you? Way quicker. Not just because I've got more experience and knowledge, but because I'd be so dissatisfied with that level of success. It's dissatisfaction with your current level that causes you to push forward with so much more energy. So for example, right now, my business does just under $200,000 per month. And my goal is to get that up to 1 million by the end of this year. So my goal is in December, I want to profit my first $1 million in 1 month, not in the year, in just the 1 month. There's men out there who would hear that goal, and if they were on that goal right now, 1 million a month, they wouldn't be able to sleep either. They find that goal disgusting. So you need to try and figure out, if you want to become successful, where your bar, your line of dissatisfaction is, because you won't take action if you're not there. So basically, you are in some ways satisfied at being a fucking loser. You're in some ways satisfied at being broke, at being a virgin, kissless autist around girls. You are satisfied in some ways. If you aren't grinding hard, if you're someone who's grinding hard as fuck, then you're probably not satisfied and you're making things work. But if this video ended up just like being shown to you on the homepage, and you're more of like a normal weak man, you're satisfied with that pathetic level of life. And I don't blame you for it. The reason why I don't blame you is because the modern world has been meticulously designed, created by the scientists, the software developers, to make us satisfied with basically having a shit life. No man can be satisfied with not having women who are into him. But then we made porn. Then we made Instagram. And now you can be satisfied. There's so many guys who are actually satisfied with life, even though they have no attraction from girls. There's so many guys who are satisfied with life, even though they have no brotherhood, no real male friends, because what do they have instead? They've got Call of Duty, where they've got status and recognition, and the gold gun, which shows that you're prestige 15. We can actually be satisfied with being complete and utter losers, whereas just 50 years ago you couldn't. 50 years ago, if you were a loser, you couldn't be satisfied with life. There was no porn, no video games, no artificial stimulation. You just were there facing your inadequacy, and so you were dissatisfied and you'd work harder. So if you want to build success and you want to get to like the next, you want to achieve the goal that you've set out, you want to build more muscle, you want to build a better body, you want to attract women, you want to make money, you need to start to be more dissatisfied with your current life. You should be ashamed of yourself. This may be one of the first times that someone's had said this to you. You should be ashamed of yourself. you should be so fucking embarrassed if you're watching this video, because 99% of guys, you're broke as fuck. If you don't have like one, but preferably $10,000 in your bank account right now, you should be ashamed of that. Now, there'll be other people who will look at this and be like, oh, you know, we should be nicer to these young guys. Hamza's being toxic, whatever, whatever. No, no, no. What I'm saying is not good for your mental health. I understand that. You understand that. But this is good for your goals. You need to be dissatisfied with life to create the first pillar of change. You'll get to a point, like, maybe there's no point me saying this because it'll take you a few years, but within a few years from now, maybe 5 to 10 to 15 years, you'll then switch from needing to be dissatisfied through kind of doing it for love. But that's like, that's a conversation for when you're older and more successful. For now, forget all about like that sort of higher level kind of thinking. What you need right now is to basically fucking hate your life. You need to hate it with enough zest that will cause you to be aggressively taking action in the things that you've got to do. Because if you're fine with your current life, you won't work as hard as the man who's not. The things that you want in terms of success, money, attraction from girls, it's a competitive game. It's like a bounty in a video game where another guy wants it, and if he trains harder than you, he'll take it. So I ask you this question right now: where is your bar of satisfaction? What physique would satisfy you? And don't just like lie and say, oh yeah, the best physique in the world and $500 million or whatever. Be honest right now. For most of your life, what level of success would have satisfied you? Having a 4 out of 10 girlfriend who vapes, but she's on self-improvement because you made her meditate with you once. Having a physique where you've built 10, 15 pounds of muscle. Making a few $100s a month, or not even making anything at all, but your parents give you a little bit of an allowance. Because this is where most guys are at, and this is why they don't grow. The successful guys that you look up to, you do realize how dissatisfied they are with life and how dissatisfied they were. That they were making tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, and they still weren't satisfied with that. That's exactly the point that I've been able to create into myself right now. It almost seems absurd for me to say that. I was born in poverty, by the way. I was literally born in a family that was so poor that I didn't even get enough food to grow properly. My bones, like, literally were kind of fucked up, and I developed conditions like rickets. Basically, I didn't get enough calories to eat. That's poverty, right? When you didn't get calories, bro. That's poverty. You can do the math if you go look at one of my paid program. Maybe it'll be linked below. I have 1,600 current students inside of my program, and it's $129 each. You can do the math. It's like $190,000 a month that I make there. And I'm still dissatisfied. Now, I sound like a fucking asshole for saying that because I'm 190. That's like fucking 2-something million a year. How am I dissatisfied? Because you have to be. Because you want to play the game. Because this is the interesting thing. I've been satisfied before. So this is the other version now. Let's say if we're optimizing for mental health. I've been satisfied with my money, with my physique before. I've had those times where I was making above 100,000 a month, even those times where I was making 10, 20, 30,000 a month. And I would say it to myself all the time, more money's not going to change my life now. There's been times when I've got a girlfriend and I look at my physique and I think, more muscle's not going to change my life now. That sounds really wholesome and like humble for your mental health. And I really do think mental health should be a priority, but do you know what happened to me in those moments? If you've watched my videos for a while, you would have spotted those moments. I got complacent. I lost a lot of zest of my masculine life. I didn't work as hard. I didn't train as hard. It became okay to skip a day from the gym. And how do you think that started to affect me? You see, desire for more, dissatisfaction can actually be a beautiful thing, even though it sounds like this crazy thing of poor mental health. You know, this guy's got so much muscle, but he's still grinding every day. That's like a mental illness. But it gives you a reason to be alive. It gives you a reason to work hard. A man without this straightforward mission, like this sort of smart goal that you're dedicating everything towards, a man without that starts to feel really empty and directionless, and that's where you start consuming bullshit and you're just watching YouTube video after YouTube video. You're probably in that state right now, aren't you? That's the reason why you clicked on this video. This video is not that special, but you clicked on it because you're in that state where your desire isn't hard enough. Men's desire for the things that men should desire, like pussy, like dominating other men, like specifically taking another man's fucking girlfriend, like making so much money, like taking money from another man's business. These are completely natural masculine desires, but the modern world has told you that they are immoral, they are this, they are this, they are this. Don't chase money because that's really cringe. The grind is really cringe. Oh, those guys wake up early, that's really cringe. Take time off, play 1 hour of video games. This is all we've heard from since we were little boys. You've been told that grinding hard and desiring more, desiring those conventional masculine things like money, women, power, respect, brotherhood. You've been told that those things are like bad things to chase after. And so your desire has been throttled. It's been choked inside of you. You feel like a bad person when you desire money, even though we all desire it. You feel like a weirdo when you desire women, even though we all desire them. And so when you aren't able to just relax and desire these things, have these big goals, have this dissatisfaction for your current period of life, then you don't chase after them. Because if you were let's say you live like a normal life, you maybe work a part-time job, you make a few $100s a month, or you maybe work a full-time job, or you're currently in school, in university, everyone around you is going to look at you weird if you were dissatisfied with your life, if you were waking up super early, 4 a.m. to grind. Everyone's going to look at you like you're weird. Everyone. Except the successful men that you're trying to be more like. So it depends on whether you want the validation of the normal people who are at 20% body fat, the man who's married a 5 out of 10 girl who he convinces himself is like actually an 11 out of 10. The guy who's got a dead bedroom relationship, who doesn't even have sex with his woman anymore, and sometimes she gives him a blowjob like once a year, if even that. She lets him have sex with her when he's done his chores like a good boy. The guys who are working the 9-to-5 jobs and they hate their lives. All of these kinds of people will judge you when you desire way more. But the men that you look up to, they'd actually respect you more. So I've got an action step for you that I want you to just think about in this video. Be more dissatisfied with your current life. Allow yourself, if not in front of others, fine, at least to yourself, to be so pissed off. Just recently I did a meetup in Amsterdam with my students. So inside of like my private community, I told my students, oh, we've got this like big meetup in Amsterdam, and I booked out like a seminar room. Like I paid a few €1,000 to book out like a seminar room where I gave a live business lecture and everyone got to network and connect with each other. I got like 2 cameramen to come in and take pictures. It was like an awesome event, right? And afterwards, we did our normal online call like a few days afterwards. And I said to the boys in the call, type 1 in the chat if you couldn't make it to the live events. And a bunch of people typed 1. And I said, what? For the guys typing 1, why couldn't you make it? And a few guys wrote money. They could have came, but they just couldn't afford like the flight tickets, the hotel. And I directly said to them, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be so embarrassed by that. There was something you wanted, to go to this educational event that would have been quite hype, lit, whatever, and you couldn't afford to go. If you're fine with that and you're like, oh, well, I don't really care, haha. Do you really think you're going to work as hard the next day? Of course not. But if you're pissed off at that, you're going to almost not be able to sleep thinking, how the fuck do I make more money? Like, how did hell? Hamza got 100 guys to fly over from different countries and I couldn't afford to. That's embarrassing. The same for the last girl you spoke to and for the girls that you've had crushes on. You've got to be dissatisfied. The last time that there was a girl who chose another guy over you and that other guy had more things going on. He was wealthier. He had like a 6-pack. He was more of an athlete. You were able to cope really hard, come home, watch a bunch of like cringe self-improvement videos where they tell you to not think about girls and just focus on yourself, king. And then you were able to feel a little bit more satisfied. But you get better with women when you're dissatisfied with where you're currently at. I remember there was times where I was more of a degenerate. But in my own words, this was a little while ago, but in my own words, I was only fucking 5s and 6s. And most guys would have loved to be here. There was a few like girls I was consistently sleeping with. And I got pissed off at that. I was getting pissed because I knew for a fact that there's guys who were sleeping with girls who were way more attractive and like classy or whatever than the girls I was with. And so I harnessed that feeling of being dissatisfied that I was only sleeping with like 2 or 3 girls consistently. Most men would love to trade positions with me, but I was dissatisfied at that level, and so I was able to make progress. You don't need to be a degenerate. But the point is, if you're fine at a certain level, you're not going to keep climbing. You don't want to get complacent. This is your reminder that if you are complacent in any area of life, you're barely going to make progress. This is a lesson, like just a piece of wisdom I wish I got when I was younger, that for men, negative emotion is actually really valuable. The modern world has told you that we should never feel negative, that we should always try to feel super happy, take some fucking medication, here's some Ritalin, whatever, like antidepressants or some shit. You're not feeling good, so go scroll. You're not feeling super happy, to go watch bullshit on your computer, go play some video games, eat some little sweeties and stuff. You're told to avoid negative emotion and try and keep yourself in this false state of positivity all the time. But life as a man is not supposed to be positive all the time. Most, if like at least 50% of your life, if not even more, is supposed to have like a negative emotional texture to it. Dissatisfaction, craving. That's what actually causes you to go and create that success. Now, all of that being said, once you have been able to harness this level of dissatisfaction, one extra nice thing you can do is just do the mental health habits on top of that. So you can meditate every day. You can do gratitude journaling where you can express that you're grateful for what you do have. For example, you've got this, this girl that you're dating, and so you write down that you're grateful for the date that you guys went on yesterday. You write down or you think about some friend that you've got and that you're grateful that he's in your life and you guys hit a workout yesterday. That's wholesome as fuck. Keep those things up. But don't be satisfied enough that you get complacent with that. Because otherwise, you'll end up exactly like most men, where they just live like, 4, 5 out of 10 lives, where they've been able to save up a house and then they live there with their girlfriend that they don't even think is that pretty. They watch porn in the toilets, like sat on the bathroom pretending to have a shit, and they jerk off there because they get bored of having sex with their 4 or 5 out of 10 wives. That's how most men live, like quiet lives of desperation. You need to be dissatisfied with that. Because there'll be people in the comments, probably in the comments of this video, who'll say, actually, that's such a wholesome life. Am I the only one who wants that life, guys? I see that like every now and then. There'll be people who say like, oh, am I the only one who just wants a normal life? And I'll just, I live at home with my wife and we can have sex 2 times a week once I've done the chores. And, I just work my 9 to 5 like a slave, and I come home at 6 p.m. and I'm not there to raise my children. So they're being sent to the education system, which is utterly ineffective and inefficient. And they're being taught weird shit in schools. Yep. A life of complacency for me. Clearly that's not you if you've watched this video. Harness more dissatisfaction. Be pissed. The next time you wake up and you see a pimple on your face, be pissed. If you've got acne right now, be pissed. Because that means that you've been fucking up. That means that your diet is not good enough. Be dissatisfied with that. Be dissatisfied with your physique. We need body shaming. They try to make us into such pussies saying no body shaming this. I wish I could meet you in real life so that I could body shame you personally. Honestly, because it'd be fucking good for you. I'd make you strip down, take your shirt off, do push-ups with me. And when I see that you've got like a fucking flabby Indian physique, like a non-bred physique where you've got like skinny fat stomach but skinny arms, I'd take the piss out of you because you look like a bitch. And that negative feeling that will arise will cause you to take the gym more seriously next time. It sounds odd, but that's exactly what men need. For women, it's completely different. Women, like, they don't thrive on negative emotion. They thrive on positivity and praise. So for your woman, for your girlfriend, for your sister, mother, it's a different thing. But for men, in a weird way, we almost thrive on criticism, on being called out by other men. Think about the impact I've been able to have on the world, the massive audience I've been able to build. I'm an asshole in my videos. When you meet me in real life, genuinely, I'm actually kind of like a nice guy. I'm laughing, I'm giggling, whatever. But in my videos, I'm a fucking asshole because it works, because this is what men need. In every single one of my videos, I call you out for being a pussy and you keep watching because you know that this is what you needed. Otherwise, you wouldn't take action. If I was another fucking YouTuber telling you everything's going to be all right, oh, you take some days off, guys. Yeah, you know, 1 hour of video games is fine. I play 1 hour of video games a day as well. If I told you that you could just be fine with your current life, you would have never listened to me because you knew deep down that that wasn't good enough. You knew that you wanted more out of life. And so I made you dissatisfied with the shape of your fucking body. I made you dissatisfied with how much money you have in your bank account. I made you dissatisfied with the women or the lack of women that are in your life. And that's why you've been grinding so fucking hard as much as you have. You know, the people that you know, your old friends or your Jeffrey friends who aren't grinding like you, who aren't even trying to just be on self-improvement at all, they're satisfied. They play video games. They drink some fucking beer. They smoke their little cute vapes or something. They eat shit food. They've got like every like need of the human taken care of. For intimacy, they have porn. For status and brotherhood, they have video games and prestige or whatever the fuck levels on a video game. They have everything taken care of, and so they're satisfied. And how much progress, really visualize this, are your friends making right now? Barely any, because they don't need to. Think about how much progress you're making because you'll have something to strive towards, so never lose that. One of the biggest mistakes that I've made over the last few years in business and being a YouTuber and just being an adult is that I got satisfied and I stopped like grinding as hard. There was times when I felt like I was making more than enough money. So I used to question it. Like, you know, I've been making more than $100,000 per month since around May or April of last year, 2023. And so once I had been consistent with that for like 4 months, 5 months, those thoughts really did come in of like, what's the point? Like, it's not more money's not going to change my life. And my life went downhill because of that thought. I thought it'd get better because I'd start to prioritize more wholesome things. But it just took away a lot of that masculine zest, which makes you feel alive. So don't listen to those like weak-minded people who wouldn't understand what we're talking about here when they tell you like, oh, stop like grinding as hard, stop working as hard. You know, you should just be fine with how you are. Basically, they're telling you to be complacent. Because we've tried it, we've been complacent before. Certain men are just switched on. If you're watching this video, you probably are like that, where you're just kind of switched on. You just kind of like, you can't sit around and have like a peaceful mind. If you just sat around and I put on some like TV show for you, you'd feel like a fucking idiot, like you should. So if you are that kind of man, stay dissatisfied, and I'm sure that you will start to build more success than ever. I mentioned that community. It's maybe the second link in the description. You can just go have a look right now. If you watched all this video and you're the kind of guy who's got like a good attention span and you really want to build an amazing lifestyle where you feel like basically you feel like you're a hard dick, like the hard dick lifestyle where you feel like a masculine man, like a G. That's the second link in the description. You'll learn how to make even more money. You'll learn how to network with other guys. You'll learn how to attract women and literally get them like really into you. Second link in the description, Adonis School. If you can't afford that, Adonis Gang is the top one. That's completely for free. Go and go and click on that link if you want. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.